Hi, I'm that guy Brick Road, and this is the game I'm most obsessed with in the world right now, Demon Bluff. And Demon Bluff is indicative of a truth that I hold to be very, very apparent, and it seems to be getting truer and truer as time goes on, that video games have never been better. That's a sincerely held belief. For all of the problems we have in video games right now, over monetization and exploitative corporate policies and Nintendo pricing people out of being able to play the new Donkey Kong and a million other problems, it's like we still, though, live in a world where you can get a game like Demon Bluff. Right now you can play it for free, the playtest, and when it launches in its 1.0 version, it's not going to be very expensive, and I've already gotten dozens of super fun hours out of this game. I sincerely believe it's never been a better time in the world to be a gamer. Unless you just really want to play the new Donkey Kong and it's like it's $80 and you don't have $80, then you're just... I don't think Donkey Kong's even in this game, though. Ooh, we have... okay. We've got our first Pookaville in this this series. So we've got a 6-villager location today. 6 cards. We've got 1 outcast. It's either going to be the Bombardier or the Plague Doctor. We have no minions and only 1 demon, but it's a demon we haven't seen yet, and it is the most insidious of demons. Puka. Villagers adjacent to Puka are corrupted. This can get very out of hand very quickly if you've got Puka and a Plague Doctor and a drunk and a poisoner. Like, sources of corruption add up very quickly. Oh, that's just me coughing and clearing out the pipes, because even just looking at Puka, the terrible jaundice on her face. Her face? Is Puka meant to be female? I'm not even sure. Puka is probably the hardest demon to deal with in the game as it currently stands. They're going to be adding something like 5 pages filled with new roles they have blank space for. I don't know what they've got planned for this game, but I'm super excited to see whatever they add to it. So, okay, what's going to happen here is we're going to... I want to see if I can see which yellow we have. Let's start there. We have a Slayer. We haven't talked about the Slayer yet. We have a Druid. We had more than enough Druids in the previous episode. I got a Scout. I got an Architect, I got a Knight, and I've got a Bombardier. So, we know our yellow is the Bombardier. Why do we know that? Because Puka is a demon, and demons cannot disguise as an outcast. They must disguise as a unique villager. Plague Doctors don't disguise at all. So we know that our yellow is the Bombardier. We know that the Bombardier is good because we've only got 1 outcast. This can't be... Puka can't disguise as the Bombardier because she can only disguise as a villager. So we know our 1 yellow card that we can see is on the up and up. Love that for me. Now, we have to look at who's lying. Right off the bat, I know the Scout is lying. The Scout picks an evil and then tells you how close it is to another evil. He's saying Puka is 3 cards away from the closest evil. That's nonsense, because if this is Puka, 1, 2, 3 cards away is the Knight, but we don't have another evil to place. It's only Puka in this village. So Puka's not 3 cards away from the closest evil because there is no closest evil. I think if the Scout were telling the truth, he would say there's only 1 evil. Maybe he'd say Puka is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards away from the closest evil. I don't know. The Architect is saying the right side of the circle is more evil. So the right side of the circle has more evil on it than the left side does. And interestingly, you can see the purple arrows popped up. Well, you can't see the purple arrow over the Scout. That's probably not okay. That's probably a... You can barely see 1 pixel of that arrow down there. The arrows probably need to be in a place where, like, this tooltip box should move out of the way, and so the arrow can always be seen. But the Architect In this circle, the Bombardier and the Scout are in the midpoint. That means the Bombardier and the Scout are both on the left side of the circle, and they're on the right side of the circle. So this architect is saying that Puka is one of these 4 cards, and we know Puka's not this. We also have a Knight. If Puka's the Knight and we stab the Knight will just die. But Puka could also be corrupt. If Puka has corrupted the Knight and we stab the Knight, we will take extra damage. We had a Knight in the previous village, but we didn't actually get to play with him because he was a flipped witch-blocked card for most of it. But yeah, usually you take 5 damage if you try to stab somebody and they're a villager. The Knight, if he's corrupted, he'll die and do 5 damage to us for killing the villager, plus 4 for killing a Knight. And then the Slayer is a card we can send him after somebody, and if they're evil, Slayer will execute them. Okay. So what I've got 2 abilities. I've got a Slayer and a Druid, and we've got know your lot. You must be lying. So where can Puka be is the question. I've got a special tab that I like. So you cannot be Puka. I'm going to put a tab on you. You and you cannot be Puka, and here's why. The Scout can be Puka because the Scout is lying. So Puka could be lying in this position. The Druid could be Puka because if the Scout's not Puka, the Scout is corrupted. The only source of corruption we have in the village are sitting next to Puka. So the Druid could be Puka, and then the Scout could be lying because of that. And the same logic applies to the Architect. Puka could be sitting here, which would account for the Architect's lie, because the left side would be more evil in that case, corrupting this Scout. But if this Knight is Puka, the Bombardier can't be corrupted. The Architect would be corrupted, and that would account for the Architect's lie. But then why is this Scout lying? You see what I mean? Puka can only be in the southern half of the village. This Knight and this Slayer are exonerated. And because the Slayer is exonerated, we know you're a villager. We don't know if you're telling the truth. Puka could be here, which would make you corrupted. So one thing we can do is send the Slayer after the Scout and see what happens. You guys are both confirmed villagers. Before I send the Slayer anywhere, I could confirm whether this Druid is telling the truth or not. We can take the Druid and put her after these 3 characters. Because we know we know they're not Puka. We know they're villagers. We know he's an outcast. The Druid says, between these 3 cards, there's a Bombardier. And she's right. That's a true statement. That means you can't be Puka. And it means you can't be Puka because you can't be sitting next to a villager who's telling the truth. And that means you've got to be Puka. And if you're Puka, I'm sending the Slayer after you. And that's the end of the village. Sometimes the villages just go quick. Puka villages usually don't. Maybe tomorrow we'll get a 10-card Puka village and we'll be at it for 90 minutes. And I'll just sigh a lot.